In this video I'm going to show you how to get from a beach bob to defeating the Overseer without any mods. Firstly, you're going to want to spawn in West Zone 2, and then you're going to do the Explorer Note run. There's an excellent video by JomaX, I'll leave the link in the description below. Now doing the Explorer run will help you fly up the levels. Other ways of speeding up XP includes crafting and killing. At level 1 you can craft notes, a torch and a stone pick. Not only does a torch help you at night and keep you warm, it can be used to melee attack harmless passive creatures. When you have a level up, you gain engram points to spend. You cannot unlock everything, so spend wisely. At a later stage in the game you can make a mind wipe, which can help you relearn different engrams, but that's for later. I suggest starting your journey on the beaches. It's where it's generally safer, and start by collecting bushes for berries and fibre, picking up stone, and punch trees for wood and thatch. All the berries are consumable, but avoid the white stim berries as it will drain your water, and the black knackerberries as they will put you to sleep. To drink, just jump into the water, or stand beside it and press the use button. When it's raining, it will automatically fill up your water bar. Craft the stone pick in order to collect flint. At level 2, make some spears to make it easier to kill smaller dinos. Just be aware they can break at random, and you can throw them. And harvest bodies for raw meat and hide. At level 2, you can make a stone hatchet. It will get you more hide than meat, whereas a pick will get you more meat than hide. And that goes for other resources, such as a hatchet gives you more stone than flint, and wood than thatch, and the pick gives you more flint than stone, and more thatch than wood. Look out for the smooth river rocks for early metal. When you have progressed enough, you can find metal nodes at the top of the mountains. Raw meat is unhealthy for you, so you'll need to cook it, and at level 2 you can craft a campfire. You'll need to use thatch or wood as fuel to set it going. Wood does last longer, and it produces charcoal, which you will be using later on. All meat eventually spoils, and turns into spoiled meat, which you'll need. By splitting the stacks, this will help speed up spoiling multiple meat at the same time. At level 3 you can craft cloth armour. It will give you some protection against the dinos and the weather. The weather that affects you will have icons in the bottom right, which are extreme heat, which drains your water faster and damages your health, hot, which drains water quickly, cold, which drains your food quicker, and freezing, which drains your food quicker and damages your health. When you're ready to explore inland, you should take the water skins with you to drink. You can learn them at level 3. To fill them up, jump into the water and press the corresponding hotbar key. They do leak, so the water will drain over time. Also at level 3, you can now access the white supply drops, giving you a range of loot. You can learn the storage boxes at level 4. Try and get in the habit of hoarding as much resources as possible, as you'll be needing them mid to end game. Also at level 4, you can make a thatch base. When you're inside the base, you'll get a house indicator, meaning you are protected from the elements. At level 6, you should now consider making the mortar and pestle. At this stage, this will help you make spark powder, which you can learn at level 6 as well. Use stone and flint to craft, and it can be used as a fuel instead of wood or thatch. It lasts longer and cooks items faster, but it doesn't provide you charcoal. Also, you can now learn narcotics, which help keep dinos asleep, and eventually you'll need them for trank arrows. At level 7, you can now learn the bed. I highly recommend building one and place it inside your base, as this can be used as a spawning point. It does have a cooldown after use. At level 8, learn the club. It's better than your fists for knocking out dinos, and it doesn't damage your health. A good early game creature to tame is the parasaur. They're very easy to tame, and the saddle is available at level 9, and so is the bola. The parasaur can collect lots more berries than you, which at this stage you'll need a lot of narcoberries for narcotics. It can also have an alert, which is handy in PvP. I have a video on how to tame all the dinos, I'll leave the link in the description below. At level 10 you can learn the bow and stone arrows, making it a lot easier to hunt. At level 11, you have reached wood tier structures, so you can now upgrade your base, meaning less dinos can damage it. Also you can learn stimulant, which you will need for later. At level 13, you can learn cementing paste, which is a hard resource to get at this stage of the game. You can craft it by using stone and chitin or keratin in the mortar and pestle. Chitin you can collect from insects and trilobites, and Kettering you can collect from armoured or horned dinosaurs. At this stage I suggest killing and harvesting trilobites found on the beaches, and or carbonemses as are found on the beaches and the rivers, and they are slow. Another way to get cement and paste is beaver dams. However, at this stage you probably won't be able to get them as they're located near bigger and more dangerous dinosaurs. At level 15 you can unlock hide armour, which provides more armour and better protection from the cold. However, a little less protection from the heat. You can also learn the compost bin, which you'll need later. And also gunpowder by crafting charcoal and spark powder in the mortar and pestle. You can now access the green supply drops for better loot. At level 16, you can now learn bug propellant, which you'll need for later, especially in the caves. A good early game hunting dino is the raptor. At level 18, you can learn the saddle. Simply bolo it and knock it out with a club. Now feed it with raw meat or raw prime meat. Avoid using cooked meat, as it will take longer and reduces its taming effectiveness. Some creatures drop unique items, such as claws, vertebrae, etc. These are called tributes. You'll need to keep those for later. Raw prime meat spoils really quickly, but for most carnivores it speeds up the taming progress, and gives it better taming effectiveness, meaning more dino levels when it's tamed. The easiest way to get prime meat early game is by killing wild babies. Just be aware the parents will attack you, even the usually passive dinos. Since we're talking about the babies, for early game breeding, to claim a wild baby, firstly you need to kill off any of the adult parents of the same type that's near it, and then if it's not been scared, simply go up to it and press the use button to claim it. If you plan on doing early game breeding of your own tames, you'll need a male and a female. Make sure they're close enough, the heart icon will appear, and select both dinos to mating. The heart symbol also means the pair are mate boosted, improving both damage resistance and melee damage. Depending on the type of dino, it'll either impregnate the female, and you have to wait for its ingestation period before it gives birth, or the female will lay a fertilized egg. The egg needs to be the right temperature in order to incubate. Most eggs need the heat, so at this stage I will build a bunch of campfires in an arch shape, place the egg in the middle, and check if it's incubating. If it's not, it will say it's either too hot or too cold, in which case the egg starts to lose its health. The changes in the weather and the time of day can affect the egg, so you need to stay near in case you need to adjust the temperatures by turning on or off additional campfires. Once the egg is hatched, just like the wild baby, press the use button to claim it. The dino will have a want to care in timer on it, and when that hits 0, it will ask for one of a number of things. If you're lucky enough, you could have its desired requests in your early game stage. If not, that's tough luck. If the care, better known as imprint, is a cuddle, just press the use button to cuddle it. If it's a walk, whistle it to follow you and make it walk around until the imprint indicator or dino animation appears. For all the comfort food consumables, you'll need to place them in your last hotbar and then press the use button. Depending on your settings, server rates, and the dino, the imprint percentage will vary, and the number of times you need to imprint to reach 100%. Each imprint increases the dino's base stats, but the new imprinted stats will not breed over to the next generation. A rideable 100% imprinted dino gives a melee damage and damage resistance boost of 30% to the rider that cared for it. Unless you have changed it in your settings, whoever claims the baby is the only one that can imprint on it. The dino goes through 3 stages until adulthood. Baby, which is from birth until 10% of growth. The baby has to be hand fed. The bigger it gets, the more food it can hold. For this reason, you'll need to keep a close eye on it and remember to feed it. From 10% to 50% is called juvenile stage. From now on, they can eat from the feeding troughs, which you can learn at level 18. The dino will now prioritise feeding from the feeding trough, even if it's got food in its inventory. And the final stage of 50% to 100% is called adolescent. Feeding troughs are also good to place meat and berries in to feed other dinos within its range. Another thing you can learn at level 18 is the preserving bin. The preserving bin is sort of an early game fridge. You'll need to use spark powder to fuel it, and it can extend the spoil timer of berries, meat, rare flowers, and rare mushrooms. At level 20, you should now make at least one stone forge. You can use spark powder, wood or thatch to fuel it. You can now smelt metal. Every 2 metal smelts into 1 metal ingot. Now you have metal ingots, at level 20 you can now learn and make a smithy. This is used for more advanced tools, weapons, ammo, armour and saddles. Learn the metal hatchet and the metal pick, and this will help you collect more resources. At level 21, you can now make trank arrows by crafting stone arrows and narcotics. So now you can start hunting and taming bigger and stronger dinos. At level 24, you can now learn stone structures. By upgrading your base, this leaves only 5 ground creatures that can damage it. At level 25, you can now learn and make the pike and the crossbow. The pike is a stronger version of the spear, which does not break spontaneously, and you cannot throw it. The crossbow is a stronger version of the bow. Though it's slower at firing, it does more damage, and it makes the trank arrows more effective. You can now access the blue supply drops. At level 27, I suggest learning the stone dino gates. You'll be needing them soon. At level 30, you can learn the sword for smaller AoE attacks, and the sickle, which helps collect fibre and raw prime fish meat. At level 31, learn the large bear trap, and when you use it with the large stone gates, it will help you capture and tame the bigger and stronger dinos. At level 34, you could learn the simple pistol and the simple ammo, which can provide 6 rapid fire shots. When you reach level 35, you can now learn the long neck rifle and simple rifle ammo. To craft the ammo, it's metal ingots and gunpowder. It's a good way of killing dinos from a distance. You can now open the purple supply drops. At level 38, I suggest learning the Tranon saddle and taming one. This will be your first flyer, and it will be a game changer. So now will be the ideal time to start farming vegetables. At level 40, learn the metal intake pipe. At level 42 and 43, learn the greenhouse structures. And back at level 36, you can learn the large crop plots. And you should have already learnt the compost bins. Greenhouses can provide effects that can boost the speed of crops. The percentage of effects depends on the placement of the crop plot and the greenhouse structures. Only the greenhouse ceiling, slope roof and walls give the effects. The rest of it is cosmetic. At least 50% of the crop plot has to be under a ceiling or slope roof. The effect is capped at 300%, meaning crops will grow up to 4 times faster than normal. You will need crystal, which is mostly located at the top of the mountains. Make sure you use a pick. Large crop plots can hold more fertilizer and crops. Crop plots need to be irrigated before planting. They can collect water from the rain when exposed to the elements. But in order to get the greenhouse effect, they will need to be indoors. So a metal intake will be needed. You can use a stone intake, but they are easier to break. Crop pots need feces or fertilizer to act as fuel for any seeds to grow. Fertilizer is by far the most efficient way. By using a compost bin, you can convert 3 feces and 50 thatch into 1 fertilizer. To put it in perspective, 1 fertilizer lasts 9 hours in a crop plot, compared to human feces, which only lasts 10 minutes. If you tame a femia and feed it stimberries, it produces a lot of feces, but it drains its food bar quickly, so keep an eye on it. Dung beetles can convert feces into fertilizer and oil when set to wandering, but they can only be found in the caves, and you're not quite ready for that yet. And if you craft a toilet, which you can learn from level 32, when you are ready to poop, use the toilet, flush, and it converts the poop into fertilizer. You'll also gain a temporary boost to your XP of 33%. Before you flush the toilet, you can place raw meat inside its inventory, and once you flush it, all the meat spoils instantly. Back at level 40, learn the bee's buffle saddle and tame one. By killing insects, it auto-harvests the bodies and converts them into cementing paste. Just be cautious of the swamps. At level 45, you're now reaching metal tier structures. You can now upgrade your base, leaving only 2 creatures capable of damaging it. You can now access the yellow supply drops. At level 46, you should learn metal billboards, as they're a cheap way of trapping larger dinos, and the AI pathfinding doesn't work on them. At level 47, learn grappling hooks. You will need them for later. At level 48, you can now learn the Fabricator, which lets you craft much more advanced items. Also at level 48, make sure you learn Polymer and Electronics, as they will be needed and you can only craft them inside the Fabricator. You'll need oil in order to make a Fabricator, and furthermore gasoline to power it. So oil, as I mentioned earlier, can be produced from dung beetles, but trilobites can drop them when harvest, and in very advanced stages, a Tusitufus and a Basilosaurus can passively produce it. But the main way to collect oil is from oil nodes. They are located underwater or in the snow biome, so you'll need to craft fur armour, which you can learn back at level 23. You'll need to collect pelt in order to make this. You can collect pelt from a range of furry creatures. Just make sure you use a metal hatchet. With fur armour, you will be able to survive the cold, but you'll be too hot anywhere else. You can easily find the oil nodes on the icebergs. Now that you have oil, you can make gasoline. 6 oil and 5 hide makes 5 gasoline. Place the hide and the oil in a stone forge and turn it on to craft. Also, now you have oil, if you place some in a preserving bin with cooked meat or cooked prime meat and spark powder, it will eventually make cooked meat jerky or cooked meat prime jerky, which does have the same food consumption as cooked meat, but it lasts longer and it's used to make certain kibble, and it's an imprinted comfort food. To use the gasoline in the Fabricator, simply place it in the inventory and turn it on. Every time you turn on any technology that needs gasoline as fuel, it will automatically consume one. Now the Fabricator is powered, in order to craft electronics, you'll need metal ingots and silica pearls. Silica pearls are located mostly underwater, but some are on land, in the snow biome, next to the ocean. Press the use button to collect them. To craft polymer, you need cementing paste and obsidian. Obsidian is found mostly at the top of the mountains, and some in the snow biome, near the ocean, roughly in the same place as the silica pearls. Another type of polymer is organic polymer, which can be used as a polymer replacement. It can also be used to make ghillie armour. Ghillie armour works as a camouflage, which has good heat and cold protection. It also reduces the enemy's visibility by 50%. You can learn this at level 33. Organic polymer also has a spoil time of 30 minutes and can only stack in 20s. Use the sword or a wooden club to harvest it from Carcus or Hesperornis. Do not eat organic polymer, as it will kill you. At level 49, you can now learn the generator. It's wireless, with a range of roughly 20 foundations. It will power anything electrical within its range. Simply put gasoline in its inventory and turn it on. The generator will now power the Fabricator, overriding the gasoline in its inventory. At level 50, you can now learn the industrial grill, which is basically an improved campfire. It cooks a lot quicker than a campfire. Also, you can now learn cryopods and cryofridges. Both cryopods and cryofridges are crafted in obelisk terminals, supply crates, loot crates, or endgame tech replicators. The cryopod can cryofreeze any of your tames apart from the giant bee, the Liopriodon, and the Titanosaur. The cryopod lasts 30 days in any inventory apart from the fridge, which then it can last up to 60 days, or the cryofridge itself, which not only does it last forever, it recharges any timers back up. If a cryopod runs out, both the cryopod and the creature inside are dead. The cryopod can be recharged, but the creature is gone forever. To throw out a creature, you'll need to be in range of a powered cryofridge. If you're playing PvP, it cannot be thrown out near enemies. The dino cannot be cryoed if it has taken any damage within the last 60 seconds. In PvP, when uncryoing a dino, you'll gain a cryo cooldown, which lasts for 5 minutes. If you uncryo any more dinosaurs during this cooldown, the dino will receive cryo sickness. Cryo sickness lasts for 5 minutes, causing the creature to receive 10 times damage if attacked, and renders the creature unconscious with a full bar torpor. If the dino has a short torpor time, meaning it will wake up before the 5 minutes is up, it will wake up, but it will still receive the 10 times melee damage, and will be unrideable until the cryo sickness is over. The cryofridge is powered by a generator. When placed and powered, it has a cooldown of 5 minutes before it becomes active, and then you can use the cryopods. At level 56, you should learn the flak armour. This is the first decent type of armour, reducing your damage taken by a lot, but it's not great against the heat and it's only okay in the cold. At level 60, you can now learn the fridge, which is an upgraded version of the preserving bin, except you can't make any jerky in them. It runs off a generator and it vastly improves the spoilage time. You can now open the red supply drops. At level 61, you can learn the air conditioner. It provides plus 100 to both the heat and cold resistance. It has a range of 2 foundations. It helps combat both the heat and the cold to fertilize eggs. Multiple air conditioners can stack their effects, and some eggs you'll need up to 10 air conditioners to incubate. Now for the next game-changing dino. At level 62, you can now learn the Argentavis saddle. I suggest learning it and taming one. The Argentavis is not only a great attacking flyer, it can grab a range of creatures, has a decent carrying weight, its saddle turns its infantry into a smithy, plus more. They can be found in the mountains. I recommend using a trap when it comes to taming it. Also at level 62, you should learn the Tranquilizer Dart. Used in a long net rifle, it deals more support than a trank arrow and deals less damage to the target, meaning all flyers and ground level dinos are now achievable to tame. I have a video on all the dinos' abilities, and I'll leave the link in the description below. Once you can fly your Argentavis, pick up an Ankylosaurus and safely tame it. You can learn its saddle at level 36. The Anky is a gathering Swiss army knife, collecting oil, flint, crystal and metal better than you. It also has a metal weight reduction in its inventory, vastly increasing your metal farming. Just use the Anky to hit metal nodes and the RG to carry it around. If you need lots of stone, grab a Doedicurus. You can learn the saddle at level 34. Now you're ready to be looking at high level tames for boss fights, and you'll want the best taming effectiveness for the most extra levels. So now you need to start looking at making kibble. There are 6 different types of kibble. They all can be made in the cooking pot or the later stage industrial cooker. So the ingredients I haven't mentioned yet, rare flowers, can be found in beaver dams, but mostly you'll be collecting them with the Anky as a byproduct of harvesting crystal. They can be collected from bushes, but as the name suggests, they are rare. You have the effect of aggroing any wild dino to you if you consume it. Rare mushrooms, again found in beaver dams, and the Anky collects them from crystals. When consumed, it darkens your vision for 10 seconds. Giant bee honey. The 2 ways of collecting honey are taming a giant bee and converting it into a beehive. Honey will slowly produce inside it. After you have put rare flowers in it, it consumes the rare flowers over time. Make sure you're wedding gilly to access it to avoid being stung. The other method is taming a dire bear. Build up to the nest and harvest it. Bees ignore dire bears. The saddle can be learned at level 45. Sap. It can be found in supply drops, and the only other way is crafting sap taps, which can be learned at level 36, and placing them onto the redwood trees. To make life easier to collect the sap, I suggest building a tree platform. You can learn the wooden version at level 33 and the metal version at level 59. Focal chili. Made in a cooking pot or cooker, it needs cooked meat, citronal and various berries and water. If you're using the cooking pot, do not use wood as its fuel, as the charcoal would use the ingredients to make a colouring dye. When consumed, it increases movement speed by 25% and crafting skill by 100% temporarily. Lazarus chowder, again made in the cooking pot or the late game cooker. It needs cooked meat, salvo root, long grass, narcotics, mejo berries and water. If you consume it, it reduces your oxygen consumption by 15% and you gain a small amount of stamina regeneration, even when in water. And finally, the type of eggs. For basic kibble, use the dodo, carcu, parasaur, dillo or lystro eggs. For simple kibble, it's the Archipleryx, Compi, Dimorphodon, Gallimimus, Hesperornis, Microraptor, Oviraptor, Patchy, Pegamastrix, Pteranodon, Raptor, and Trike eggs. Regular kibble. It's Ankylosaurus, Baryonyx, Carbonaris, Carnosaurus, Dimetrodon, Diplodocus, Diplosaurus, Ichthyosaurus, Iguanodon, Caprasuchus, Kentro, Pachyrhino, Pelicanorus, Pedimonscorpius, Sarco, Stegosaurus, Terrorbird, and Trudon eggs. Superior kibble, it's Allosaurus, Argentavis, Gigantoraptor, Megalana, Megalosaurus, Moschops, Spinosaurus, Tapajara, and Titanboa eggs. Exceptional kibble, it's Brontosaurus, Giga, Quetzal, Rex, and Therizino eggs. For extraordinary kibble, it's only the Yutyrannus egg. Now you have your kibble, you need to start taming high-level Rexes, which you can learn its saddle at level 74, Megatheriums, which you can learn its saddle at level 52, and Therizzinos, which you can unlock its saddle at level 69. When they are tamed, make note of their melee damage and health before you start leveling them up, as this is their base stats, which will determine which ones you'll be breeding for the boss fights. At level 80, you can now learn the Industrial Forge, which smelts a lot faster, roughly 10 times faster than a stone forge. Also at level 80, you can learn the Utyrannus saddle. The Utyrannus is a dino that is coming with you to the boss fights, and you can finally open the deep ocean loot crates. At level 81, you can learn scuba gear, unlocking the ability to go into the deep ocean. The scuba tank's durability decreases over time when using it, so take backups. The leggings help combat the cold, the mask makes you see clearer in the water, and its flippers help you swim faster. There is no glove, so equip it with the best armour you have, which is most likely flak. At level 82, you can now learn the chemistry bench. It's an upgrade to the mortar and pestle. At level 89, you can now learn the industrial cooker, which is the upgrade to a cooking pot. It's required to be irrigated, so make sure it's inside an intake range. At level 96, you can make the shocking dart. It's used in a long net rifle. It's the best tranquilizer, as it does double the torpor of a tranquilizer dart. You'll need to collect biotoxin. To get biotoxin, you need to collect them from Cinderas. Due to their shock stun attacks, use a raft, which can be learned at level 16, and shoot from a distance, or tame a Basilosaurus. They're immune to shock attacks. You can learn the saddle at level 60. You're going to need the Basilosaurus soon, so you might as well tame a male and a female and breed them. Now it's time to prep for the boss fights. I touched on how to breed earlier in the video, but now I'll explain why. You'll need to breed, as just the highest possible level dinos won't be strong enough to fight the bosses, especially the beta and alpha strengths. So you'll need to breed the best possible base level points into health and melee damage. This will take time, but don't worry, you'll be busy doing other things during the process of raising a dino army. So to break down breeding, you'll need to have high level dinos, but not necessarily the highest level dino. It's down to points. Now the level of the dino gives that many points to its stats at random, but it's where those points are that matter. For example, you could find a level 150 Rex, but it might only have 19 points in health or melee and 35 points in oxygen. But then you find a level 145, but it has 40 points in health. You're gonna want the 145, unless you plan to swim the oceans with a Rex. Unfortunately, the only way in game, without any mods, to know the dino points before knocking them out is the Tek binoculars, which you unlock at beating the Alpha Overseer. So your best bet is to knock out the dino, look at its stats, and enter them on Dodo Decks. That will tell you if your dino is worthy of your time. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you're lucky enough, you can find opposite gender dinos with one in high melee and the other in high health. It would save you a lot of extra breeding time. But this is Ark, so it's very unlikely. This is where it can get frustrating, so you'll need to breed until you can get the stat you want into an opposite gender. Naturally, any dinos that inherit better stats gain better base levels. However, if it inherits the worst of the stats, the baby can have lower levels than its parents. It's all about chance at first. Once you have raised both genders with the high health and melee stats, you can now guarantee it. Any twins or triplets will have the same stats to each other, but they can be different genders. Dinos will only inherit the base stats, not any imprinted stats. There is a chance a baby has a mutation. This could be a skin colour change or an increased stat. So you might be working through raising an army, and then one of the babies has a boost stat in health. So then you need to decide whether to raise another army with this new health stat or just carry on. The dinos you're going to need are 19 bred Megatheriums and 1 Utyrannus for the Broodmother, 19 bred Rexes and 1 Utyrannus for the Megapithecus, and 19 bred Therizzinos and 1 Utyrannus for the Dragon. Depending on how many players there are, you can have up to 50 dinos for the Overseer. I highly recommend taking the Therizzinos and a Utyrannus, and maybe an Otter. I'll go into more detail later. While you're waiting for your army to grow up, you're going to be searching for artifacts. Search for higher quality blueprints, such as saddles, weapons and armour. The highest quality blueprints are usually found in cave drops or deep ocean crates. The higher the armour for saddles, the less damage the boss will deal to them. You can also find blueprints from fishing. The fishing rod can be learned at level 18, but the higher the quality the loot. You can also improve upon the blueprints by putting levels into crafting skill. So now if you craft a mine wipe, this resets all your stats and clears all your engrams. Put all your levels into crafting skill. Now if you craft a blueprint, it will give you a bonus chance, which is a random percentage per craft. The more levels you put into crafting skill, the bigger the bonus can be and the higher the likelihood of it. For the mine wipe, you can change the settings in single player so it can be used an unlimited amount of times. On official servers, you will have to wait a real time of 24 hours before you can use it again to reset your character. In some cases, with a high enough bonus, you could have Ascendant level armour, but can be as cheap to make as a Ramshackle level. It can also help you to free up engram points, as it would be unlikely you will need to learn the forge again. Now artifact hunting. I suggest taming an otter. It's the only creature that can carry multiple artifacts, and multiples of the same artifact. Usually when you collect an artifact, another one appears straight away. Then you've got to wait for a while. If one doesn't appear straight away, then you're going to have to wait, if you want to, and you have the otter. All artifacts are in caves, with varying degrees of difficulty. Bring multiple armour, as an offer player can break it with its acid spit. Onyx can give you mega rabies, even when riding. And make sure you have a strong shotgun. So the artifacts in alphabetical order are the Brute. It's underwater. The cave entrance is located 54 latitude, 3.5 longitude, and the artifact is located 62.7 by 17.3. I highly recommend taking a breeded mate boosted pair of basilos. They have high health, decent melee, they cannot be stunned nor grabbed by a Tuso. It's for the Megapithecus boss. Clever. The cave entrance is located 40.2 by 46.5. And the artifact is 37.9 by 45.3. Bring a high level baryonyx. You can learn its saddle from level 49, and it's for the Broodmother. Cunning. This is the hardest underwater cave. The cave entrance is located 45.5 by 97.1. The artifact is located 45.9 by 89.1, and it's for the dragon. Devourer. Cave entrance is 8.9 by 91.4. The artifact is 10.5 by 90.3, and is for the Megapithecus. Hunter. Cave entrance is 85.2 by 54.2. The artifact is 89.1 by 57.1, and is for the Broodmother. Immune. This is by far the hardest cave. It has poisonous gas. You'll need a gas mask, which you can learn at level 85, and ghillie armour. Also use any of the 3 pieces of scuba and ghillie to counter this. You can only go so far with any tame before you hit a choke point. Bring lots of spare ammo, armour, and a very good shotgun. If you have cave building allowed, bring a generator, gasoline, cryofridge, and a cryopod. As long as you're not too close to any of the loot drops, you can place them down and wait until you can throw the cryopod out on the other side of the choke point. The cave entrance is 64.8 by 35, and the artifact is 64.1 by 37.9, and it's for the dragon. Massive. Be aware this cave is hot. Bring grapple hooks in case. The cave entrance is 74.2 by 92.3. The artifact is 70 by 91.9, and it's for the Broodmother. Pack. I recommend using the Megalania. It can climb over the choke points that even the baryonyx can't fit through, and you can also shoot off its back. The cave entrance is 71.4 by 57.2, and the artifact is hidden up here at 76.7 by 62.8. It's for the Megapithecus. Skylord. It's very cold. You cannot fit a dino through the entrance. You can place a cryofridge and a generator at the entrance and throw out a dino, however it's too small and cramped to move. So lock and load your shotgun, and bring grappling hooks. The cave entrance is 14.2 by 13.9, and the artifact is 14.4 by 13.1, and it's for the dragon. Strong. It's very cold. Bring a Megalania, a very strong pump action shotgun, plenty of ammo, grappling hooks, just in case it goes wrong, and a metal pick. Where you can, stick to the ceiling, as hidden Pelovias will pounce, stunning you or the Megalania, knocking you off it. The cave entrance is 26.1 by 29.1, and the artifact is 26.6 by 22.6, and it's for the dragon. So now you're almost ready to fight the first 3 bosses. If you want to squeeze out some extra levels, for that extra health or that extra weight to carry more ammo, but leveling up your XP is now slowing down, try killing a Titanosaur. It can be done by foot. I'll leave the link in the description below. It gives by far the most XP from a kill. You can run the Swamp Cave, also known as the XP Cave, now that you have mastered it from collecting the Immune artifact. Another safer way is to use the Industrial Grinder. You can learn this at level 64. Make sure it's in a generator range, or use gasoline, fill it up with wood or stone and turn it on, and simply grind it all. At the time of recording, outside of mods, you can get chibi pets, but only from crafting them during events, such as Winter Wonderland. With one equipped, you can level it up by killing alpha dinos. It gives you an extra level every time it has leveled up, to a maximum of an extra 5 levels to you. To help leveling up your dino army, you can simply just kill everything in sight, pet a Lysosaurus near them for a temporary XP boost. Cryoing them gives a passive XP boost. And if you're in a tribe, get your tribe members to sit on the dinos you wish to boost, then use the grinder and they'll take the shared XP, which is also passed on to the dino. Now you should be making recipes. I suggest Medical Brew. It heals you by 40 HP over 5 seconds. It's made in a cooking pot or cooker using tinted berries, narcotics and water. I also suggest making sweet vegetable cakes. They're great for healing herbivores. Again, it's made in the cooking pot or cooker. You'll need honey, sap, rock carrot, long grass, celery root, stimulant, fibre and water. There are various other recipes with different effects. I'll leave the link in the description below. Now it's boss fight time. You'll want to start with the Broodmother, as it's the easiest one of the 3, and you only need to be level 70 if you wish to fight at the alpha difficulty. You'll be able to find it at the green obelisk, located at 60.4 by 76. So you're going to use the 19 Megatheriums, because the Broodmother is a spider, and the Megatheriums has a melee attack boost on insects, which also stacks. And you're also going to take the 1 Eutyranus, which you're going to ride. The Eutyranus can do a Courage Roar, which will boost your dino's melee damage and damage resistance even further. So the bosses have their own arena, which you and your dinos will teleport to. It's limited to 20 dinos, so make sure they're close enough to the terminal as possible, and anything you don't want to bring with you stays away. I should mention no flyers or sea creatures can come into the fight, nor anything higher than a Rex, for example like a Giga. There are some smaller creatures than a Rex, like the Titan Boas, Megalanias and Phylas, that cannot come in as well. Place all the artifacts and tributes that's required in the terminal and activate. A countdown starts. It doesn't matter if you're just standing there or if you jumped on the dino, it will kick you off it during teleportation. Once you're in the arena, jump on the Eutyranus and whistle the Megatheriums to attack the Broodmother. Stay slightly behind them and use that Courage Roar. Just keep an eye on the Eutyranus' stamina. It will drain quickly when you're using the roar, and the last thing you need is the Eutyranus to pass out on you. After you have defeated the boss, a loot crate appears. You will gain element, a trophy head of that boss, which you'll need to keep for later, a flag, and you unlock some tech level engrams. The higher the difficulty, the more tech engrams you unlock. If you want to make tech gear, you'll need to make the tech replicator, but it costs 100 element and it's fueled by element as well, so you're going to need to farm the bosses for more. And also you'll need a resource we haven't come across yet, black pearls. You'll need it to make tech items, weapons or armour. It's very rare. You'll need to harvest Europids, Alpha Mosasaurs, Tusatuthos or Alpha Tufatusos. Otters can rarely collect black pearls when it's hunting for fish. Now for the Megapithecus boss. Located at the blue obelisk at 21.4 by 21.5, you need to be level 85 to fight the Alpha. It's a cold arena, so wear your fur armour and any recipe that counters it, if needed. It's worth noting before you jump in, tech equipment doesn't work in any of the 3 boss arenas. This time you're using 19 Rexes, and like last time, you're using that Eutyranus to ride. Once you have teleported, I suggest you go for a wander up the stairs, as the boss has a knockback, which can knock your dinos off the map, so take the fight to it in the enclosed area. It throws giant rocks. If If one of them hits you directly, it will kill you instantly. As the same as the Broodmother, when defeated, a loot crate appears. You'll gain more element, again another trophy head which you will need, a flag, and more tech unlocks. The next boss is the dragon. It's the hardest of the three. Located at the red obelisk at 84.8 by 12, you need to be level 100 to fight the alpha. You'll be taking 19 Therizzinos and that Eutyranus to ride again. The dragon's fire breath does more damage to carnivores, which is why you're taking Therizzinos, as they're herbivores, and they can also feed off sweet vegetable cakes every 30 seconds, healing them in the process. It's extremely hot in the arena, so wear ghillie, consume any recipe that counters the heat if needed, and take lots of medical brews. Try and avoid the fire breath at all costs. At alpha level, it does 20% damage of your total health a hit. Also, when it's in the sky, it shoots fireballs at you. It has a massive AoE, which not only can damage the dinos, it can also damage the riders too. Dimorphodons also spawn in the arena, attacking riders, and this is why you have your medical brews. Try and get your pack to surround the dragon when it's landed, so they don't all get hit with the fire breath at the same time. Ideally, if you can, attack it from behind. When defeated, again you get more element, a flag, more tech unlocks, and the final head trophy which you need to keep. For the final fight, the Overseer is very difficult. You will need to be a level 100 for the alpha. You can take your tech gear with you. Because of its difficulty, you're going to have to bring mutated level dinos. The temperature changes, so bring different types of armour to change into when needed. So to fight the Overseer, you firstly need to traverse the Tek Cave. The entrance is located at the volcano, which is 42 by 37.3. Just be aware wild gigas do spawn here, so you might need to deal with them first. To activate the terminal, you'll need those boss head trophies and tributes. Instead of teleporting, the cave door opens. The cave itself is a challenge. It has lava drops, extremely high level dinos, which includes wild gigas. You can bring up to 50 dinos at this stage, but just be wary when it comes to the terminal at the other end. I'll explain a little bit later. Make sure you bring a Eutyranus, as many Therizzinos as possible, and maybe to help combat the elements an otter, but that's down to you. With the Therizzinos, make sure you have filled them up with sweet vegetable cakes. You're going to have to carefully navigate your way down the cave, bring medical brews, all the different types of soups and stews to help boost your character, at least one pump action shotgun, plenty of ammo. Just so you know, whether you win or lose this fight, nothing is coming back. Once you have fought your way down to the bottom, you'll enter an alien-like area. You should see a terminal. This will teleport you and your remaining army. It's capped to 20 dinos per person, so if you're playing solo, you can only take 20. The two of you can take 40, and 3 or more people can take up to 50. Make sure they're all close to the terminal. When you have teleported to the spaceship, before you start running down to the other end, grab the Explorer Notes. If you find all the Explorer Notes on the island, you can gain an extra 5 levels. At the start of the fight, the Overseer will be in the shape of an implant, and is shielded over, meaning it cannot take any damage. So focus on killing as many drones and attack units as possible before they seriously outnumber you and start killing your dinos. The Overseer will then start changing forms, replicating the Broodmother, the Megapithecus, and the Dragon. The Dragon is the reason why you bring the Therizzinos, to take reduced damage from its fire breath, and they can heal themselves from the sweet vegetable cakes. In between the boss phases, the Overseer will change to its original implant form. It will be shielded and on the move. You'll then start firing out laser beams across the arena. You'll need to avoid these, as they will shock you, dismounts you, and prevents you from moving for a few seconds. You'll need to hide behind the giant pillars, as the beams do not penetrate them. Once you have defeated the Overseer, you ascend. After the cinematics, you'll get the credits, and you'll be kicked to the home screen. Load back in, you'll wake up naked with a new implant. Depending on the level of difficulty, or depend on the colour of the implant, and you have gained extra levels. Defeating the Gamma Overseer will gain you 5 extra levels. Defeating the Beta Overseer gives you extra 10 levels, and defeating the Alpha Overseer gives you the maximum extra 15 levels. And also unlocks the final Tech Engram, the Tech Binoculars. If you found this helpful, hit the like button. If you want more from me, hit subscribe, and if you want to stalk me, it's notifications. Cheers and gone.